I hope you're enjoying the series on how to use Lightroom. If you missed the beginning, I'll put a link up here. Check it out. This video is on how to edit a photo, and I've got an awesome photo of my Yorkie I'm going to share, and we are going to learn how to edit that together. So let's jump right into this. And there's a couple things about this video, or about this photo rather, that I don't like, and there's some that I do. I like the expression on my Yorkie, but I do not like this bright area over here. Now you do notice I have a green circle here. That's just so you can see where my cursor is. I have minimized my left menu, my bottom menu, and I have not minimized this because I want to use it. I have kept this up here so we can talk about it. So if you missed my previous videos, I do explain how to hide all those, but we are in library, which shows you all the files, but we got that hidden over here. We're going to jump straight to develop because that's what we want to do. Now, the first thing I want to do is try to take care of this, and we're going to jump into a tool that's probably a little more advanced than I wanted to go for this, but I just want to show you the impact of it, and I use this quite often. We've got artificial intelligence with it, but this is called masking. That's what the tool is. It's a masking tool, and I'm going to use it the old-fashioned way in a linear gradient. A linear gradient lets me draw an area like this by clicking and holding my mouse and just dragging it up, and you'll notice the red kind of loses its punch as it gets closer. So I want it to be mostly red here and then fade out. When you start adjusting things, the red will disappear so you can actually see the impact of what you're doing. If I pull this way down, I can start to see my Yorkie's hair again. So I've got to pull it down a lot. I lose everything over here, but I don't care because I'm going to crop that out. So let's click this button again, which is our masking tool, and that will shut off our masking. And you always want to shut that off because it's going to continue to mask and edit what you masked until you click it to shut it off. That's a mistake I make frequently. All right, so the other part I don't like is his eyes are a little dark. So let's brighten that up a little bit. We'll crop it here in a minute. So let's bring the exposure up just a little bit. And I kind of like it there. It's bringing this back a little bit, but I don't need that. And I can see enough of his eye. Let's just leave it that way for now. Now let's play with cropping because I got a couple of things I want to show you. This is the cropping tool right here in the top right. If I click that, it is going to default to a grid. Now there are several, well, it's going to default to the last one you used. So let's look what's available. If I go all the way to the top and go to tools, there is a tool overlay and a crop guide overlay. If I can look at this, there's grid thirds. We're looking at thirds. There are several other options for cropping, but keep on going down and you'll see there is a cycle grid overlay, the letter O. So let's use the O and you can go through the different grids. I never use that one. That one I use frequently. I use that to see if something's centered if I want it that way. This is good for shapes in a landscape or buildings. This is a tighter rule of thirds. This is a magic spiral, I think they call it, or something like that. And this is for images if you want to print so you can see where they would fit. And I never use this grid. And we're back to rule of thirds. So now let's do some more cropping. Let's hit, we've already in the cropping tool, so I don't have to hit anything. But notice the original says keep the it's locked. That means keep the aspect ratio. So if I move this, no matter which one I move, they will stay together. If I move all this up here, okay, it wouldn't move because I was down to bottom. Now if I move this, you can see the both sides move. But if I don't want to do that, because right now I've got this position about where I want, but this is ugly over here. So let's unlock it. And now I can slide this to the right and not impact the other. So this is going to probably be a good Instagram post. And I like that cropping. Now there's one more thing I'm going to show you in cropping. It doesn't look like it's really relevant to this photo, but it does help it just a tad. This is really good for landscapes and architecture or cities and things like that. Your photo is crooked. If you click that and then come over here and find a place to draw a line that's going to be straight, and you'll notice I'm not lined up with the line above me. That'll rotate them just a little bit. You need to hit enter or click on the cropping tool to shut off the cropping. We've done pretty good. So we can play with some of these colors and different items down here. I've already played with exposure. I bumped it up just a little bit. I don't use the contrast as much as some possibly, and you can play with it. You know, move it one way, move it back. But if you don't like it, if you double click the word that you just did, it will go back to the center or its original position. In this case, I'm going to play with texture because this has got a lot of texture in my Yorkie. And if I pull this all the way to the right, you can really start seeing a lot of more information. Matter of fact, I could not figure out what he got into. This is it almost looked like blood when I first saw it, but it's not. He got into something that was red. I almost think it was lipstick or something from my wife's makeup. I could never find it, and it took a few days. Hopefully, he didn't eat something he shouldn't have. But anyway, I have got that up pretty high. I typically don't go over 20 or 30. So if let's take this up, since I don't usually go that high and I had it up to 80, let's go close to 50. I'm at 47, so that's not too bad. Clarity is going to be too harsh in my eyes, so I really don't like that one for this photo. And then dehaze, same thing. It will really impact it more than I want. You can really soften it, get a pretty cool look that way, but let's double click it, put it back to the center. Vibrance is more on blues and yellows. So if I push this to the right, you're going to see the yellows in him pop out. And I really don't like a yellow Yorkie. If I go to the left, he still has a little color, but it's not much. So let's leave that one alone. Double click it. Saturation is going to get all the colors a little bit more. So the yellows are going to pop, but so are the others. If I go all the way to the left, you lose all the colors. So this one, I'm going to just move it up to maybe 4 or 5. And there I am at 6. It's just a little tweak. So that's not too bad. I kind of like it. It's a little, is it off center? I got an empty space here and I got this big bright white spot here. So let's look at the crop again. And let's slide it a little bit more. Let's just make it tighter. I want that ear, excuse me, I want that ear in there. And let's just play with it just a little bit till you get it to your liking and hit the crop tool again. It looks a little bit better, I think. I still didn't get rid of this white. I could play with the mask I created before, maybe move it up a little bit. You can rotate the mask if I find the rotation. There it is. And pull it up a little bit. There you go. Click the masking tool again. It goes away. That's not as bright. It's still a little distracting. All right, let's be brave. Let's take one more step. Let's mask this out with a brush. So I'm going to click the masking tool again. We're going to create another new mask. It's a plus right here, and I'm going to use a brush. And I am going to make a decent sized brush. Don't pay attention to the green, but look inside it. You can see the circle. Maybe if I move it over here, you'll see it better. You can see the circle with the plus. I'm going to make a pretty large brush, and you'll notice it'll turn red as I brush it in. And it's got a feather on it, which means it's going to, the more I color, the darker red it's going to get, and the edges aren't going to be impacted as much. But what I'm really after is getting rid of this white is what I'm after. I don't want it that white. Now let's take that exposure. Let's drop it down. And he's a Yorkie, so he usually does have black hair. So there, that's better. I kind of like that. Click my tool for masking to shut it off. And there you have it. It's an awesome photo of my dog. His name is Zeus. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hopefully you learned a few things here in this video. If you missed the beginning of my series, I'll put a video over here somewhere, right here maybe, for you to follow. And make sure you hit the subscribe and like I said. This is Doug Gabbard practicing photography. I will see you next time.